letting go of control, a new kind of trust. A talk with Unmani.
Our theme today is letting go of control and discovering actually a new kind of trust. So, first of all, we have to speak about what it means to control. Right? And I feel like we all have a sense of this already. And perhaps we notice in our own experience that we try to control in different ways. We all have our unique strategies or patterns, which are essentially about survival, learnt behaviors from a young age for various reasons. But essentially, it is about trying to control the experience or life or the outcomes so that we can feel safe or so that we can get what we feel we need, like love and acceptance, approval, safety. So there's good intentions, right? There's understandable intentions with this trying to control. And we can also feel it physically in the body as a kind of contraction or a tension or stress, effort, trying to do something, trying to be someone. And it's based in fear. So we might also feel fear and then a trying to control life so that we don't have to feel more fear, so that we can survive, right? Because fear also is part of the survival mechanism. And so there's nothing wrong with it. Let's start there, right? There's nothing wrong with trying to control. Because often, especially on the spiritual path, we can start to believe that there's something wrong with being a control freak, right? We have this term that we might call someone or even ourselves, oh, I'm such a control freak. And we might feel that about someone else, or even about ourselves, when we notice that there's a lot of that trying, that effort, that pushing away uncomfortable experiences, being perhaps quite rigid with how things should be, with maintaining certain rules or restrictions, limitations, because that feels safer. And perhaps that even informs our personality or our identity, who we think we are. And it can feel very scary to let go of that, or to even acknowledge that that's what we're doing. Because even when we look at it directly, it can feel scary that we are working so hard to keep everything so controlled and safe. And if we really acknowledge that, we have to admit that actually we feel terrified. And what are we scared of? Well, we all have a sense of the reality of life, that essentially it's all happening out of control. That it's all happening in this void, this unlimited emptiness, meaninglessness. That in fact there are no limitations. There are no boundaries. There isn't any me living my life. We all have a sense of this. And we kind of have a push-pull feeling about that. On one hand, we're running away from it desperately because we're terrified of disappearing into that, of losing who we think we are, of death, in fact. But at the same time, also there can be a longing to just rest, to let go of all the effort, of all the trying to be someone and do something and get somewhere and hold it all together. Because trying to control takes a lot of effort. Right? We're working really hard, also physically, mentally, emotionally, in all ways, to hold it together. And that is a heavy burden. And it's also impossible. That's the other side of it. Life reflects to us again and again that no matter what we do, no matter how hard we work at trying to control, that actually it's impossible. Life is out of control. And maybe we can manage to hold it all together and be in control, apparently, for a while. But eventually something will happen. You know, some tragedy, some loss, some big change, some transition, something, right? Where we see, that actually there's no way around this. Life is happening out of control. And the sooner we realize that, actually, the better. And it's challenging, for sure. And it comes in degrees, right? We might realize, okay, this part is out of control. I can let go there, but I'm still holding on here, right? So, and that's very natural, right? It's very human, right? It can seem way too scary to let go of everything all at once. So we can also be gentle with ourselves and compassionate to these humans, right? Who are trying their best to survive with the tools that they have, that they've learned, right? And being a human in this crazy world is scary, right? We don't really know how to be, how to live, who to be. And we're just taking one step after another in nothingness, in emptiness. And we risk death in each moment, actually, or at least it can feel like that. And the whole of life essentially is slipping through our fingers. We are dying moment to moment, right? We are losing control in every moment. So, of course, it's scary. So, this is the push-pull. It's like we acknowledge the inevitable, but at the same time, we're holding desperately to some kind of illusion of control. So then, what does it mean to trust, to surrender? Well, first of all, we can take it on as a beautiful spiritual concept, an attitude. But really, having an attitude of trust or surrender is just another way to control. It's just a little bit more sneaky, because then we hold on to an idea of I'm someone who trusts in life or the universe or existence. And that becomes a way to live in the world. And it can be supportive for a while, but eventually we have to let go of that as well. We have to let go of every attitude, every concept, everything actually, and free fall in not knowing, in not understanding, in risking not surviving. in feeling the fear, the terror, staying with it, and still not knowing, holding this human with compassion, and yet still not knowing. Noticing where we're trying to control and do and become and fix, and we're stressfully trying to survive in life, and inviting this human, not out of any should or must or any concept or self-judgment or anything like that, but just inviting this human to be curious with this tension, with this stress, with this effort, with this controlling. Noticing it, feeling it. How does it feel in the body? Feeling the pain of it. Feeling the hopelessness of it, actually. Feeling the fear with it. And still noticing how we are free falling anyway. Even if we're trying to hold on desperately, we're still free falling. So this is a much bigger surrender, bigger than anything that we have known intellectually, mentally. It's bigger than any experience of temporary surrender or an attitude of trust or a temporary experience of trusting. It's essentially the recognition of who we really are. That free fall, that emptiness that is unlimited, that always knows everything that is happening in the experience that arises in it. And that's unconditional love. And that unconditional knowing, seeing, is what holds the human in whatever he or she is going through. The trying to control, or whatever human pattern, mechanism, or strategy is arising, and the sensations that go with that, is being held in that knowing of it, that knows that it's just a human strategy. It's impossible to actually do what it's trying to do. Yeah, this human is trying to survive. It's inevitable that this human won't survive. Right? Eventually, we will all die. But it's a program, it's a human program, and there's nothing wrong with that. We are programmed to try to survive no matter what. So we feel that, we acknowledge that, and we acknowledge the limitations of that, the futility of that. And we have compassion and love for these humans that are just trying their best to survive. And this is trust, right? This is the bigger trust. A trust that trusts even when we don't trust. A trust that is so big that holds us no matter what. A surrender that is absolutely surrendered, even when the experience, the human experience, is of trying to control and not surrendering. And this is so paradoxical. And this is something that the mind can never understand or grasp. But it is like this. And this is a relief, actually, that you don't need to try to trust or try to surrender. In fact, it's the trying that is just more trying to control. So it's actually the opposite. It's noticing the trying, taking a deep breath and inviting yourself to see that it's futile, right? But okay, try, no problem. This human's welcome to try. But I am not limited to this human. I experience this human fully, but I am not limited and located in here. I am aware of the experience of this human. I'm holding this human in absolute love in each moment.